Welcome back, baseball fans, and we are set for the championship game between the Walter State Senators, who are taking the field, and the Tigers from Chattanooga State. This is game number 14 on your bracket. Walter State Senators are 3-0 in the tournament. Chattanooga State with one loss. They will have to defeat the Senators 2 games, this one today, and if they win today, we'll be back tomorrow about 1 p.m. Central Time to figure out a final winner. But in this game a year ago, Walter State defeated Dyersburg State to take the state championship. Tim Reese, along with producer Reagan Smith, here for all total of 15 games. This is game number 16, as there were 2 play-in games. Thanks for joining us on the VolState Sports Network for the Tennessee Community College Athletic Association Region 7 baseball tournament. Let's get the starting lineups. How about maybe the starting lineup for the Chattanooga State Tigers, who are facing Landon Slimp, Walter State pitcher. C.J. Morrow will lead off, and he will play second base. Scott Campbell batting second, playing center field. Adam Haber out in left field. He'll hit third. Owen Brock will bat fourth and catch. We will get to the rest of the lineup as we are getting started. These two teams faced off on Wednesday. Sorry, take that back. It was yesterday. Seems like a lot longer ago, and we are beginning a little bit early. 4:57. There's a ground ball to short. Reed up with it over to Corbin Shaw. 1 up, 1 down as C.J. Morrow grounds out to begin the ball game. Will bring to the plate Scott Campbell, the center fielder. Lineup has looked basically the same for head coach Greg Dennis and the Chattanooga State Tigers. There's a breaking pitch in there. Called for a strike by home plate umpire Tim Taylor. Brian Sheets down at first base, and Todd Mullins down at third. Breaking pitch comes right across the plate. Called strike. Landon Slimp from Johnson City, Tennessee, gets Campbell just to foul that one off. 6'1", 190-pound redshirt sophomore, right-hander, Landon Slimp. Slimp on for his 14th appearance of the year, 10th start, 39-plus innings, giving up 45 hits, 28 runs. 8 walks, 47 strikeouts. Opponents hitting .280 off a Slimp with a 6.13 ERA, and he has retired the first 2 batters he's faced. Looks like Slimp's got his game face on out there.
Next to bat for the Tigers,
Adam Haber will step to the plate.
Adam Haber.
Tigers defeated the Southwest Tennessee Salukis 10-0 in walk-off fashion. Didn't even complete 5 innings. Haber was 1 for 3. Single and scored a run, drove in a run, fouls that one off. One ball, 1 strike, and the delivery is driven into left field. Adam Haber with a 2-out base hit. will bring to the plate Owen Brock, the catcher.
Now batting for the Tigers. Number 8, Owen Brock.
The 2-out base hit. Checking the replay, had my volume up. I was watching some of the replays in between games. Swing and a miss on the slider or breaking pitch by Landon Slimp. I believe this is his second year with Walters. I believe I remember hearing him or seeing him a year ago. It's my first year broadcaster in the TCCAA. It's a high strike call there. Owen Brock now down in the count 0-2 with Cole Brennan, the DH, on deck. Owen Brock 2 for 2 earlier this afternoon, had a double and a home run. Drove in 2 runs. Swing and a miss. Down goes Brock on a high breaking pitch. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 1 runner left on base. The championship game through the first half inning, no score. You're watching the VolState Sports Network. Tim Reese and Reagan Smith back for the championship game between Walter State and Chattanooga State. Charlie Smith out on the mound for the Tigers. He pitched a 9-inning complete game win against Motlow State, 6-2. That happened on Tuesday, just 3 days ago. 120 approximately innings. He's back out on the hill. See his. He can go as far as he can go. First pitch swinging, Caleb Marmo fouls that one off. Caleb Marmo, Cooper Torres, and Cole McCollum. All conference players. Ground ball to second, and that will get by C.J. Morrow. He just had that one hop under his glove, I believe. That'll be an E4. Pretty easy play right there. I'm not sure what happened with CJ as Marmo puts the ball in play. Good things will happen. Charlie Smith didn't have any errors behind him in that game the other day. 17 strikeouts, 2 walks, and he delivers pitch high to Cooper Torres. One ball, no strikes to the first team all-conference second baseman, Cooper Torres. He sees that pitch called a strike across the letters. On deck, Cole McCollum, and then Corbin Shaw and Daniel Ortiz if Senators can get anything going off of Charlie Smith. Thanks for joining us on the VolState Sports Network for TCCAA Conference Championship game here on Friday. Supposed to have been played on Thursday, but weather delayed and pushed us back a day. Hopefully the weather will hold off here this afternoon and early evening so that we can get this game in. Had some weather earlier today, and that put us a little bit behind. This game was originally scheduled for 4 o'clock. Began just a hair before 5 Central Time. Count now 3 balls and 1 strike to Torres. Dominating performance by Charlie Smith against Motlow State on Tuesday, and he walks Torres. First 2 have reached. 1 on an error and 1 on a walk. First team all-conference DH, Cole McCollum steps in.
Cole McCollum.
From Medina, Tennessee, 6'3", 230-pound redshirt sophomore. That pitch comes neck high. Charlie Smith is missing high. Dangerous situation here facing the Senators, who score over 10 runs a game. Charlie Smith doesn't want to dig himself a hole. Not sure how long head coach Greg Dennis will go with the freshman right-hander, but probably a short leash after throwing as many pitches as he did. That pitch gets down in the dirt. Owen Brock has it leak out to the right. That's a wild pitch. Moves runners now in scoring position at second and third. Cole McCollum with 54 RBIs on the year, 555 RBIs to drive in 611 runs this year for Walter State. He fouls that one off to the right side. Fighting a slow iPad here, trying to see. If Charlie Smith faced Walter State, and he did back on March 11th. 2-2 pitch, driven out to right center field. That's a well-struck ball. Back goes Scott Campbell, and this ball game now has a score as Cole McCollum drives a 2-2 pitch out to right center field for a 3-run home run. So an error, a walk, and a 3-run bomb just as you draw it up. Cole McCollum with his 12th home run of the year and 55, 56, 57 RBIs. There's your Framework Athletics first run of the game, as that ball went just to the left of the Framework Athletics sign out on the right center field wall, thanks to Zach Duke and Ryan McDuffie for their support of VolState Athletics. That ball swung on and fouled off toward the Hospitality Pavilion and Maintenance Shed. Looks like that one will be easy to find as it hops right into one of the garage doors there. So number 12 of the year goes out of here opposite way. The number 1 team in the country takes an early 3-0 lead. Ground ball to third. Shamley up with it. Over to first base for out number 1. Daniel Ortiz steps to the plate. Freshman from Lynn, Massachusetts, played high school baseball in Atlanta area at the Redan School. Has had a fabulous freshman year for the Senators. Struggled a bit here in the conference tournament. He's 0 for 10, looking for his first hit of the conference tournament. Came in leading the team in hitting with .403 average, even after going 0 for 10. 62 hits, 12 doubles, 16 home runs. Starts to go. They're going to check down at first base, and Mr. Brian Sheets says yes, he went. Second on the team in slugging is Charlie Smith. Will take a timeout and do a little shoestring repair. Bit shocked for Charlie Smith after giving up only 2 runs, 5 hits against Motlow State in his 9-inning complete game. A 3-run shot here in the bottom of the first inning. Chat State scored 7 runs in their game against Southwest Tennessee in the first. Went on to cruise to a 10-run win. There's a line drive right at Scott Campbell. He makes the catch. Danny Ortiz now 0 for 11. He spanked several balls, though. And if Walter State moves on, as most people expect will happen, they will play next week against the Georgia State JUCO champion. Don't know who that is at this point. I don't know that that's been decided, but last year the game was hosted in Walter State, and I believe it was Georgia Highlands that Walter State defeated to go on to Grand Junction for the JUCO College World Series, where Walter State finished 3rd, ranked number 1 in the country at that time, as they are now. That ball's popped up down the left field line. Back goes Chamley, and over is Linkfield, who makes the catch for out number 3. But 3 runs scored on 1 big hit, a 3-run home run by D.H. Cole McCollum. 3-0, Walter State leads. Cole Brennan leading off for Chattanooga State, who find themselves down 3 runs as they bat here in the top of the 2nd inning. Swings at the first pitch, fouls that one off. Thanks for joining us on our YouTube channel here at Volunteer State Community College, the VolState Sports Network. Half-hearted swing there by the DH from Cincinnati, Ohio. That pitch gets in the dirt and away from Jarrett Martin. 1-2 pitch. That is grounded down the third base line. That will get into the left field corner, throw into second base, and it gets by second base. Cole Brennan slid down, was not looking for the baseball as he had his head down. Started to get up and move up on the errant throw, but he'll stay at second base with a ground ball double down that left field line. Ortiz playing way off the line, and not sure if Brennan was going that way or if he was just late on that offering from Landon Slimp. 2 hits now for the Tigers. Strike called to Cade Chamley. Look back to second, and the delivery slider misses away. Brennan, modest lead out at second base. There's a ground ball to second. Torres is fighting it, drops the ball, will pick it up and throw to Corbin Shaw, and in the scorebook it'll look like just a clean 4-3, but that was anything but. Torres looked like he was fighting it just to even catch it. Not sure if it took a hop he wasn't expecting or what. Then he looked like he had it, and then he dropped it, had to find it, and then pick it up and throw Chamley out at first base. On the play, Cole Brennan moves to third, and Aiden McCaskey steps up. They're going to throw to third base. Haven't seen it all year, folks. I have not seen a pickoff attempt at third base all year. I've seen it 3 times here in this conference tournament. And it worked one time. That ball gets a little bit away from Jarrett Martin. Not far enough for Brennan. The umpire will be given a couple new dry baseballs. McCaskey hit a 3-run homer in the 7-run first inning against Southwest Tennessee. Finished the game 1 for 1. He walked twice. Drove in the 3 runs. That was his 7th home run of the year. Tied him with teammate Scott Campbell for the team lead. Owen Brock also hit a long ball in that game. That was his first of the year. Foul ball off to the left side. Big difference in home run power between these two clubs. Chattanooga State now has 20 for the year after those 2 in the game against Southwest. I think Walter State has hit 20 home runs in 3 games probably during the year. They come in with 116, add Cole McCollums to it, and 117 big flies. Full count. Ministries full count swung on and missed on a high fastball. Third strikeout for Landon Slimp, S-L-E-M-P.
Number 13, Stoney Smith.
Stoney Smith steps in. Slider misses away. Smith started in right field earlier today, went 0 for 1, was hit by a pitch and walked, scored a run. Grew up here locally in Goodlettsville, Tennessee, went to Greenbrier High School, and is in his 2nd year at Chattanooga State. Two-0 count now from Slimp. That fastball misses out in the left-handed batter's box. 3 balls, no strikes. And number 9 hitter Connor Linkfield is standing on deck with 2 outs and a runner at third. There's a fastball on the inside corner. Chattanooga State is going to need some clutch hits if they're going to threaten Walter State. They'll have a first and third situation as Stoney Smith has just walked the first free pass given up by Landon Slemp. Who has been very stingy with the walk this year. 8 walks in almost 40 innings. He instead likes to get batters swinging. 47 strikeouts, has 3 here, so now 50. There's a ground ball off the glove of Slemp. And it's through the legs of Cooper Torres. 1 run will score. It's Stoney Smith, who is swift, moves on to third base on the error by Cooper Torres. So no RBI, but a run scored, and that's the Framework Athletics first run of the game for the Chattanooga State Tigers. 3-1 now. A first and third situation brought to you by Line to Line. The fellas that are out here lining the field. C.J. Morrow steps in. He's grounded out to short his first at bat. He's the leadoff batter and second baseman. Chattanooga State wearing their road grays and blue tops. Line down the left field line, but it will curl foul and hop into the bullpen. Like it stayed away from the puddles that are down there on the warning track right in front of the bullpen. 2 out. Error there by Cooper Torres. There's another one that'll get out of play. C.J. Morrow hanging tough. A young man from Caledon, Ontario. That's Canada, folks. 0-2 pitch. That goes off the glove of Jarrett Martin. Pops it up in the air. Don't think that that's a play that they run, but nobody can advance on that ball that pops out of the glove of Jarrett Martin. One hit in the inning and a crucial error that allowed the run in. And C.J. Morrow will go down looking on that nice breaking pitch that catches the outside corner. 1 run, 1 hit, 1 error, 2 runners left on base. We're through 1.5, and Walter State leads 3-1. You are watching TCCAA baseball conference action on the VolState Sports Network. Heading to the bottom of the second inning. Walter State sent 6 to the plate in the first inning, scored 3 runs. That was all done in the first 3 batters that they sent to the plate. Charlie Smith ended up retiring the 4th, 5th, and 6th batter that he faced. Only gave up 1 hit, but it was a big blow. That's to Cole McCollum. 3-run home run after Caleb Marmo reached on an error and Cooper Torres walked. So 3 runs, only 2 were earned. Jarrett Martin fouled the first pitch off and looks at a slider away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Somebody asked how many pitches Charlie Smith threw. I believe it was around 120. Somebody had said 135, but my conversation with Greg Dennis before the game, he had indicated that it was less than that. I'd guessed maybe about 120, and he had nodded yes, right around there. But he said the young man wanted the ball for this game, because I expressed just amazement that he was going to be out there after throwing that 9-inning complete game, 17 strikeouts. But he wanted the ball. Ground ball now to shortstop Connor Linkfield. Nice play by McCaskey at first base. Picked that one out of the dirt. 1 up, 1 down here in the bottom of the 2nd inning, which is how the 1st inning should have worked, as a ground ball went to C.J. Morrow, and he went to field that on the left side, and that ball just disappeared. He thought it was going right into his glove. Easy play, and until it wasn't, and it got into right field. A walk and then a big fly. That's how Earl Weaver used to want to do it. Keaton Ray, the left fielder, in with 1 out and nobody on. Hitting from the left side, and he takes a healthy cut. Comes up empty. Oh, 2 pitch, swung on and missed. Down goes Ray. There's the first strikeout for Charlie Smith. Number 9 hitter Curtis Reed, all-conference first-team shortstop, steps in there. Entire starting infield for Walter State is first-team all-conference infield. He slices one down that right field line. If it's fair, it's trouble, but he's not busting it out of the box, so he can see that it's going foul. And his eyesight is perfect, because that's, in fact, what happened. One misses. Now the count is 1 ball, 1 strike. Curtis Reed from Hamilton, Ohio, just outside of Cincinnati, a University of Louisville transfer. Several transfers on this Walter State roster. Caleb Marmo, transfer from Wake Forest. Angus Pence, a reserve infielder, transfer from Tennessee, as did Cruz Newman, the right fielder. Slider misses inside. Backup catcher Carter Olaf, transferred from MTSU. Starting pitcher Jackson Hull, transferred from NC A&T, so North Carolina A&T. And the second team all-conference relief pitcher Carson Bonaparte, transferred from Notre Dame. I'm sure there's others that don't show up on their roster. 3 balls, 1 strike. There's 2 outs. And now a walk to the number 9 hitter, which that number 9 hitter is hitting .338. Team batting average is .353 coming into this game. So Curtis Reed pulling it down with a .338. Anybody on any other team would love to have a .338 batting average. And I'm just teasing with that Reed's pulling that down. He's had a fantastic year with 10 doubles, 6 triples, and 11 home runs, 52 RBIs. Marmo steps in there, the leadoff batter for Walter State, I would venture to say he's probably been in that spot all year long. Playing in game number 55, and this is Walter State's 60th game of the year. 51-8, the number one team in Division I junior college baseball. Big, huge lead by Reed. Another ball downstairs. And Owen Brock trying to look around the left-handed batting Caleb Marmo to see if Curtis Reed's going to take off. They don't run a lot. 77 stolen bases in 93 attempts. Reed is 6 for 7. They like to stand in there and hit the ball just like Marmo did right here, and he hits one that will drop in front of the diving left fielder Adam Haber. It'll be extra bases, and that will drive in Curtis Reed with 2 outs. Didn't look down there, but apparently the umpire getting in the way. Curtis Reed, yeah, he had to avoid Tim Taylor down there at third base. Not really sure what he was looking at, but a double for Caleb Marmo drives in the 4th run of the game for Walter State. 4-1 lead. Adam Haber tried to make a diving play, but just a tad shy. That one goes over the head of Cooper Torres, and it'll go to the backstop and allow Marmo to move over to third. No way you could expect that Charlie Smith would be as sharp as he was on Tuesday, but Coach Dennis said the young man wanted the baseball. He said he'd give him the opportunity, but if he started showing signs of fatigue or just wasn't getting it done, that he would have to make a change. There's nobody warming up in the bullpen yet. He had the first 2 batters in the inning down on a ground out and a strikeout, but walked Curtis Reed and gave up a double to Caleb Marmo. Nice backhand by Owen Brock as the sun's starting to peek out here in Gallatin, Tennessee. Not familiar with where Gallatin is. It's about 20 miles northeast of Nashville, Tennessee, Music City. So that's in Sumner County. 4-pitch walk to Cooper Torres, who's now walked twice. Puts runners at first and third, and Cole McCollum comes to the plate with 2 on again. He drove his 12th home run out of the ballpark in right center field. This will draw a visit from pitching coach Dion Felger. Go out, talk to Owen Brock and Charlie Smith. 3 walks now for Smith. Only had 2 in 9 innings against Motlow State. Motlow State, of course, was a 7 seed, so clearly a different team that's across the field from Charlie Smith, so he probably can't throw the same pitches in the same spots and get the same results. No disrespect meant for Motlow State, but if statistics and results have any meaning whatsoever, that's a true statement. Conference is adjourned. Tim Taylor goes out and breaks up all the fun that was happening out there on the pitching mound.
Now batting for the Senators, number 28.
McCollum will step in first and third, brought to you by Line to Line. You might see this same crew down at Hoover, Alabama for the SEC tournament. Runner off first base takes off. There's a called strike. Cooper Torres will get his uniform dirty, sliding headfirst into second base for a play that did not occur. He gets Stolen base or defensive indifference. Not sure how the 1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss on a high fastball. McCallum fooled by that. I'm not sure what he was expecting. Or McCollum. I'm saying the name wrong apparently. McCallum is incorrect. McCollum. Come from a city that a lot of people probably mispronounce. Medina. We got, oh, I know what happened here. Okay. Owen Brock used his helmet, or his mask, to gather the baseball. That is a rule, I'm going to tell you, not many people know it, and for the longest time I didn't know it until it happened in Major League Baseball. I just happened to see it on social media, and I'm kind of a rules nerd and a scorekeeping nerd, and I remember seeing that. Todd Mullins is paying attention out there. He's not too poor to pay attention, and that will be a catcher balk, and Caleb Marmo will come in to score. 5th run, and there's a line drive that is snagged by Connor Linkfield to prevent another run from scoring. Line out to the shortstop for out number 3. But a run comes in, so that makes 2 in the bottom of the 2nd. 5-1, Walter State leads. You're listening to the VolState Sports Network. Scott Campbell will lead off the top of the 3rd inning for Chattanooga State, who's down 5-1. I believe that the mercy rule will work as Scott Campbell hits another bullet into the outfield. A couple times he's hit it between that shortstop and third baseman, but a lot of times he's hit it right up the middle between shortstop and the second base positions on the field. 3rd hit for Chattanooga State. Adam Haber will get into the box. He drove one to left field himself and tried to go that way with that outside fastball. Landon Slimp, starting pitcher, in for his 3rd inning. Throw over to first base. Scott Campbell back. Prolific base stealing club, 2nd in the conference. That sun is shining now, and it's shining right into my left eye as it comes in the left window here on the press box as we look out at Pioneer Field. Reagan, we're going to have to do something for next year, although I had no problem with it during the regular season. I have to find a valance, I think is what they call that. A little shade right there at the top. Won't bother you as you look out. I'll be fine. Just need that sun to get out of my eye. Haber now looking at a 2-ball, 2-strike count with Owen Brock on deck. There's another throw over to first base. Looked like Slimp may have got hand stuck in his glove. Almost looked like he was going to throw his whole glove over to first base. Hot shot to second. This could be two. They'll get the lead runner at second base. Nice play by Cooper Torres to retire Scott Campbell. Adam Haber reaches on the fielder's choice. Owen Brock steps in. He struck out to end the first. 4 strikeouts for Landon Slimp.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 8, Owen Brock.
Breaking pitch in there for a called strike. Tigers didn't have to do a whole lot of base stealing in game 1 today. So they put a 7 spot up on the board in the bottom of the first inning, cruised to a 10-0 5-inning win over the Salukis. Adam Haber had a stolen base. Aiden McCaskey was caught stealing. Ground ball to third. That will roll foul. And actually, I'm thinking about Southwest Tennessee, who was second to Columbia State, not Chattanooga State. That was the 80th stolen base of the season by Adam Haber in that game. Both Columbia State and Southwest now 130, 150 range. Everybody else now 80 and below, I believe. There's a throwback by Jarrett Martin, and Tim Taylor getting in the way of everybody out there. Home plate umpire. Not sure if he took his mask off or what, but he interfered with the throwback as Jarrett Martin threw one about 20 feet. Yeah, not even that far. It's probably about 10. That rolled to Landon Slimp. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Now strike 3 to Owen Brock, who's now been punched out twice. 5th strikeout by Slimp. Brock was turning around as to get ready for a full count, but instead he'll take a left turn to head back to his dugout. Cole Brennan, who doubled and scored in the second, step in with 2 outs and 1 on. Healthy swing, but a miss on that breaking pitch. Cole Brennan playing in game number 39 of the year. Slider catches that outside corner. Nice pitch by Landon Slimp. Right-hander from Johnson City, Tennessee. Redshirt sophomore. Anybody who gets out of this region as Slimp is got it going on as he walks off the mound with 2 straight strikeouts. That team's going to have a lot of pitching, and looks like Walter State has at least 4 as Slimp is running through this vaunted Chattanooga State lineup. Walter State leads 5-1. Tim Reese and
Number 26,
Reagan Smith,
Shaw.
the producer, and we'll see if he's a renovator too. We're got to try something. Block that sun from getting in my eye up in the left corner. So I try to call the game and keep a scorebook, not get a migraine headache at the same time. Corbin Shaw, Daniel Ortiz, and Cruz Newman scheduled for Walter State. Shaw now ahead in the count. 2 balls and no strikes. Shaw had a 4-for-4, 6 RBI game against Roan State in their first action of the conference tournament. 1 for 4 and then 1 for 5 the 2 subsequent games. Puts him 6 for 13. Had 2 home runs and 9 RBIs. Now looking at a 3-ball, 1-strike count. Charlie Smith, the starter out there for the bottom of the third, and he has walked his 4th batter. Clearly not that same pinpoint control that he had the other day, which is to be expected.
Now batting for the Senators. Number 18, Daniel
Charlie
Ortiz.
Smith, a freshman right-hander from Knoxville, Tennessee. I believe somebody told me he went to Powell High School. Not on the roster, but may have seen that or heard that, or had it on a different roster when I was up at Chattanooga State calling that first series of the year. They've got a nice press box up there, and they hosted the conference tournament a year ago as Smith gets ahead to Daniel Ortiz, who's looking for his first hit of the conference tournament. Sure he didn't envision being in this spot coming into this tournament, first time he's played in it. Not sure, there must not be a freshman of the year, but he made first team all conference at third base. It's a pretty darn good award. I would expect that he would be freshman of the year. Tyler Harrington, the conference player of the year, is a sophomore from Southwest Tennessee. Swing and a miss, and down goes Ortiz on the breaking pitch. He lined out to center field and now has been retired on strikes. Corbin Shaw still standing out at first base with a leadoff walk. Cruz Newman will step in. He popped out to shortstop Connor Linkfield to end the first inning. This is Charlie Smith's second strikeout. Not that you could expect 17 strikeouts here against Walter State. That ball is thrown to first base, and McCaskey has to crawl over Corbin Shaw, who came in standing, to keep that one from going to the wall. Newman hitting .351. One 1-0 count to Cruz Newman. Fouls that one off to the left side. Newman and Caleb Marmo, his counterpart or his next door neighbor out there in the outfield, our second team all-conference outfielders, along with Garrett Bird from Jackson State. Catcher for the Chattanooga State Tigers, right next to Cruz Newman, is also a second teamer all-conference, and Corbin Shaw is just picked off by Charlie Smith. We're out number 2. Now 2 out and nobody on. Cruz Newman looking to continue the inning with a base hit. Catches the inside corner. Count goes 1 ball and 2 strikes. Jarrett Martin standing on deck with his shin guards on. Sure, if you're outside, I'd appreciate having that sun. A couple innings and it'll be out of the way. As the lights are on, that ball is lifted high in the air into right center field. Scott Campbell looked back to see how far he was away from the wall and right in front of the Framework Athletics sign. Scott Campbell hauls that one in for the 3rd out of the 3rd inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and nobody left on base. First clean inning for Charlie Smith. No runs on the board. 5-1, Walter State leads. Producer Reagan Smith, also an engineer up here in the remodeled press box. He has just solved the sun issue. That foul ball off the bat of Cade Chamley goes off the roof of the maintenance shed. Should be easy to find over there. Swing and a miss by Chamley on a high fastball from Landon Slimp. Out for his 4th inning. 0-2 pitch, nice breaking pitch. It just misses outside. Chamley grounded out to second base in the 2nd inning. Breaking pitch called a strike on the inside corner. He is not hopping mad. I mean, literally hopping mad. Chamley had a 3-for-4 game against Southwest Tennessee earlier today.
Now batting for the Tigers.
He had the walk-off ground ball base hit up the middle that with bases loaded that finished the game, but he goes down looking here. Aiden McCaskey, who struck out in the 2nd, gets his 2nd at-bat with 1 out. 6 Ks for Landon Slimp. Called strike. That strike zone is getting wider as we go. McCaskey able to just get a piece of that one. The 1-2. Another foul ball. That'll hit off the pole and carry him over to the Chattanooga State dugout. We'll do it again. Pitch will miss. Curved way around. That one will catch the outside corner. Pretty similar spot to where Cade Chamley's was. And that is 4 straight strikeouts for Landon Slimp.
Next to bat for the Tigers, number 13, Stoney Smith.
Stoney Smith steps in with 2 outs and nobody on base. Slimp stepped on that one. He's talking to himself a little bit out there and fairly animated at times, and looks like when that strikeout rolls in, he gets even more animated, or more bulldog looking, I guess. Called strike. 1 ball, 1 strike to Stoney Smith, who walked, stranded at third base in the 2nd inning. There's a ground ball to the right side. Corbin Shaw backhands, flips to Landon Slimp for a 1-2-3 inning. Still 4-run deficit for Chattanooga State. We're heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Walter State leads 5-1. You're listening and watching TCCAA action on the VolState Sports Network. Heading to the bottom of the 4th inning. Walter State 5 runs on only 2 hits. Each team has an error. Walters with 3 runs in the first, 2 in the 2nd. That ball is ripped foul down the left field line. Jared Martin grounded out to short to lead off the 2nd inning. First 3 batters of the ball game reached for Walter State. 1 on an error, 1 on a walk, and 1 on a 3-run home run. Cole McCollum put the Senators up 3-0. Then in the 2nd inning, after 2 were out, a walk, a double, and a walk, and a catcher balk. There's another ground ball to short, takes a funky hot, and Linkfield will make the throw over to McCaskey, but the return throw on the throw around, he ends up missing that one, but no error will be charged to Connor Linkfield. Now he's looking at his glove. If he's going to have a little glove repair out there. He's tightening a string. Keaton Ray, who struck out in the 2nd, steps in. First pitch to Ray, in there for a called strike. Keaton from Evansville, Tennessee, a transfer from Virginia Tech. 6'1", 210-pound, redshirt freshman. Now down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. way high and outside. So we didn't get a chance probably to talk about that play too much, but with Caleb Marmo on third and Cooper Torres at second in that second inning, there's a ball that got in the dirt. Owen Brock took his mask off, which he does every time there's a ball that gets away from him, as he's taking his helmet off right there. Or he uses the hockey helmet. Count 2 balls, 2 strikes to Keaton Ray. And while he's searching for that ball and as he's going to pick it up, I'm sure he wasn't even thinking anything about it, as Keaton Ray takes a healthy hack at that pitch and comes up empty. Struck out twice now. It's only the 3rd strikeout for Charlie Smith. We'll see if Curtis Reed can start a rally as he did in the second with a walk. But he reached down, Owen Brock did, and touched the ball with his helmet. Didn't need to. It had nothing to do with aiding his ability to corral the ball. It was, I'm sure, just maybe a lazy type play that you don't even think about, but it happens to be in the rules that you can't touch the ball with any part of your equipment. You couldn't take your hat. I assume as a fielder, second baseman, third baseman, that you can't do that with your hat out in the field of play either. But I'm pretty sure that's called a catcher's balk. There's a called strike on a 1-1 count. Curtis Reed, the all-conference first-team shortstop, looking now to 1 ball, 2 strike count. But time was called by umpire Todd Mullins as he saw that and awarded Caleb Marmo the plate. Owen Brock was 3 steps toward the dugout, and Cade Chamley, who's pretty animated at third base when he thinks there's a called third strike or should be a called third strike, they were both heading to the dugout. Count will go to 2 balls and 2 strikes from Charlie Smith, and Curtis Reed able to hold up on that off-speed pitch. We'll go to a full count. Ministries full count. So that's how Walter State scored their 5th run. It was unearned. Curtis Reed with his second 2-out walk. That is the 5th of the ball game. Tim Taylor talking to the Chattanooga State dugout. Caleb Marmo, who doubled in this situation. He drove Curtis Reed in. He hit a ball out to left field that Adam Haber tried to make a diving catch on, and he'll drive that ball into center field. That will kick off a Scott Campbell out in center field. Reed will move up to third base on the error by Scott Campbell. That is the second error of the game for Chattanooga State. May not come back to haunt if Charlie Smith can retire Cooper Torres, or they can
Next to bat for the Senators,
produce an out on one of the base runners. But we have a 1st and 3rd brought to you by Line to Line, our maintenance crew this week. Thanks to Bill Marbett and Stephen Dodson and their crew for all their hard work. Cooper Torres looks at a nice slider in there for a called strike. That was only the 3rd hit of the ball game for Walter State. Throw over to first base. Marmo back. Cooper Torres in this situation of 1st and 3rd. He took off on the first pitch. Marmo, he takes off, and he Pickoff attempt over at third base, and Caleb Marmo will get a stolen base on the pickoff over to third. He obviously was going on first move. Now runners at second and third. Charlie Smith able to get the number 7 and number 8 batter and just unable to retire the 9th batter here in the lineup, which was the 3rd batter of the inning. Cooper Torres squared around a bunt, but I think that was a token square around. 1 ball, 1 strike. Strike called at the letters on the outside corner. Somebody's going to need to let Tim Taylor know that we have a little delay on the scoreboard at sometimes. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ground ball to third. A tough play by Cade Chamley, and he comes up large with that ball in the glove, and a strike over to McCaskey. The error does not come back to bite the Tigers in this inning. 1 hit, but no runs here in the bottom of the 4th. We're through 4 innings, 5-1. Walter State leads in this championship game of the TCCAA tournament. Johnny Decker of the Tennessee Baseball Report right behind home plate with his 2-foot-long photo lens or camera lens there, is taking pictures. Go to his Twitter page or web page. I'm not sure. I see it on Twitter. He takes some fantastic pictures, provides a lot of information for baseball fans. Tennessee Baseball Report. As Connor Linkfield will step in against Landon Slimp on for his 5th inning of work. Connor Linkfield reached on an error by Cooper Torres in the 2nd inning, but was stranded at first base. Line drive out to right field. That will get down in front of Caleb Morrow's slides down to keep that ball from getting by. As the outfield is very wet, ball can scoot quickly. Chattanooga State is getting their hits, but they're just not getting them in bunches. That's the 4th hit in now 5 innings. Slimp retired the side in order in the 4th. The 2nd inning that Chattanooga State is led off with a hit. C.J. Morrow, the leadoff batter, looks at a first pitch outside, ball 1. He's 0 for 2, grounded out and struck out looking. Slimp throws over to first base, not in time. Slimp's last outing was on April 26th. Walter State hosted Gaston College, and Slimp went 5 innings, gave up 6 hits, 4 runs. They were earned. Walked 1 batter, struck out 3, gave up 1 long ball. He left the game with the score tied, so he did not figure in the decision. Walter State ended up winning that game 9-7. Great start here in the conference tournament finals. Game number 4 for Walter State here in the Region 7 tournament. Hosted on the campus of Volunteer State Community College. A lot of hard work, but for this guy, it's been extremely enjoyable. I love baseball, love watching it, scoring it, broadcasting it. Almost a quick pitch right there by Slimp. He was paying a lot of attention over there to Linkfield, but then it's like he just forgot about that and decided to throw the pitch to C.J. Morrow, who fouled it straight back. Fouls another breaking pitch off to the left side. Jackson Hall got the first start against Roane State and went 4 innings. Gave up 4 hits and 1 run as the starter. Another foul off. Braden Matthews started the second game, which was game 7 in the tournament. He went 2 1/3 innings, gave up 2 hits, 4 runs. Taz Butler came in relief. 3 innings of 1 hit, no run baseball. Butler got the win, went to 2-0. Jackson Hall got the win in that game 1 and went 8-1. Morrow is ruled to have not swung the bat on that offering. After fouling 3 pitches off, now he gets to the 2-ball and 2-strike count. Landon Crumley won yesterday's game, and that pitch will hit Morrow. Actually, Crumley did not get the win. He went 4 1/3 innings. He got the start. Crumley had some issues, giving up 6 hits, 6 runs. By my count, 5 were earned. Walked 5 batters. Johnny Stevens ended up coming in and threw 4 2/3, a 3-hit, no-run ball. And he earned his first win of the year. Tigers with 2 runners on now. First real problem for Landon Slimp since the second inning. Scott Campbell, who's 1 for 2 in this ball game, went 3 for 4 against the Salukis. 3 singles, all the right around the shortstop over his head or right at the center fielder. He absolutely blistered the ball in that game, and he grounded out the shortstop on a hard shot. 3 for 4, 1 RBI, 2 runs scored in that ball game. He's now 8 for 18 in the tournament by my count. A 3-0 count from Slimp. Drive out to center field sends Caleb Marmo back. He will not catch up to that one. It hits off the fence in center field and kicks away. That'll be a stand-up double for Scott Campbell. He drives in a run, and runners now at second and third. RBI double. He's now 2 for 3. Scott Campbell having a fantastic year and a really, really good conference tournament. Connor Linkfield, who singled to lead off the innings, comes around to score. The score is 5-2 now. That will draw a visit from Sean Robinson, the pitching coach for Walter State. Walter State pulling something a little bit different here as they are in the visitors' dugout. Chattanooga State just stayed in the home dugout where they were for Southwest Tennessee game, which began, I believe, right around 2 o'clock. Check my score sheet. Yep, just a little after 2 o'clock. That game only lasted an hour and 40 minutes. Didn't even go the full 5 innings. Chat State won 10-0 in mercy rule. Home plate umpire always looks up to the press box and holds up a number for the mound visit and points to the dugout. And I don't keep account of that. I figure that's not my job. But there's a ground ball backhanded by Shaw, flip to Slimp. He drops the ball, and Brian Sheets says that he was just pulling that ball out to show maybe to the runner at third base. But another run scores, and Scott Campbell moves over to third base. So an RBI ground out by Adam Haber. But a nice play by Corbin Shaw to get the out as he flips to Landon Slimp covering for the first out of the inning. Owen Brock, who struck out twice at the plate, he pops one down to right field, and that way will get in front of Cruz Newman for an RBI single, and Chattanooga State getting back into this ball game. 3 runs here in the top of the 5th inning. 5-4, Walter State now leads. Just got enough of that to get it out into the green in the outfield in front of Cruz Newman.
Number 15, Cole Brennan.
3 hits in the inning and 3 runs. Cole Brennan steps up. Big fly by Cole Brennan could give the Chattanooga State Tigers the lead here in the top of the 5th inning. Still, this inning almost looked like Tigers were laying an egg here in the championship game, but they've come back in fine fashion to make this a ball game. Cole Brennan is 1 for 2, now looking for at an 0-2 pitch from Landon Slimp. He kind of came up a little gimpy at first base after covering. Slimp did. I'm telling you, he's got a sharp breaking slider. But he appears to be fine now. I don't know if he got stepped on. Ground ball to short. This should end the inning. Ground ball 6-4-3. Nice turn by Reed Torres for a due-dat double play, just what the doctor ordered for Landon Slimp. The Tigers get back in the ball game with a 3 spot here in the top of the 5th. Walter State still leads 5-4 on the VolState Sports Network. Cole McCallum steps in, the DH for Walter State, as a 3-run homer in the first inning. Ended the second inning with a line out to the shortstop with 2 runners on. So 1 for 2 and 3 RBIs. Fouls the first pitch off to the right side. Thanks for joining us on the VolState Sports Network. This game is tightened up now. Slow roller that will be caught by the Connor Linkfield, who gets the runner at first base and has to do an acrobatic move to get over third baseman Cade Chamley, who had tried to cut that ball off, could not get there, and then could not get out of the way of Connor Linkfield, but he apparently was able to act like Cade Chamley was Casper the Friendly Ghost, because it looked like he just went right on through him. That's just your average everyday 6'3". This will be a little more conventional. He does charge and has a little trouble as he bobbles that one, but on 2 consecutive pitches, Connor Linkfield showing off the defensive prowess that he's exhibited this year.
Next at bat for the Senators, number 18, Daniel Ortiz.
Daniel Ortiz, 0 for 2, now 0 for 12 in the tournament. Swing and a miss on a breaking pitch. The longest hitting streak of the year for Ortiz is 9 games. Second on the squad to Jarrett Martin, who had a 13-game hitting streak earlier. When you're in a slump, it seems like you're always 0-2, and he has a no-ball, 2-strike count. Charlie Smith gutting one out here. He's in the 5th inning. Doesn't have the sharp stuff that he had on Tuesday, but he is keeping the Tigers in it. Gave up 3 in the first, 2 in the second, and has not allowed a run since. Since the second inning, he's walked 2 and given up a hit, and that's it. Fouled off to the right side. These 2 teams from the eastern part of the state. Walter State from Morristown, Tennessee, up in northeast Tennessee, and of course Chattanooga State is in Chattanooga. Southwest Tennessee is down in Memphis. You have Jackson State and Dyersburg State in the western portion of Tennessee, and in Middle Tennessee you have VolState, Columbia State, Motlow State, and over by Chattanooga you have Cleveland State. I think that was 10 as Ortiz goes down swinging for the second time today. A 1-2-3 inning for Charlie Smith. He's retired the last 4 batters he's faced. Going to the top of the 6th inning. Tight ball game here in Gallatin, Tennessee, on the campus of Volunteer State Community College. Cade Chamley steps in for Chattanooga State to try to solve Landon Slimp. Another inning here. See if they can get this game tied or take the lead as a strike is called on a ball that gets away from Jarrett Martin. First pitch to Cade Chamley, who went down on strikes in the 4th inning and then not happy about it. Started hopping back to the dugout. Now down in the count, 0-2. He's 0 for 2 on the day, ground out and a strikeout. Chamley grounds to second bases. Cooper Torres sidearm delivery over to Corbin Shaw for out number 1. He's now 0 for 3. Aiden McCaskey will step in. He's also 0 for 2. He struck out twice.
Tigers, number 27, Aiden McCaskey.
Slimp's breaking pitch curves around the river and called strike. That one curved a little bit too far. Slimp wanted that call, but does not get it. Swing and miss on a pitch that was going farther away from McCaskey. He had needed maybe a fungo and a half or a 42-inch long bat. Changeup misses outside. Count will go full. We have a full count. Ministries full count. There's a ground ball. A second high hop to Torres. He handles it for out number 2. No on the full count first pitch foul ball. Stoney Smith with 2 outs will step to the plate.
Next to bat for the Tigers, number 13, Stoney Smith.
0 for 1 in this ball game. Was 0 for 1 in the Southwest Tennessee game earlier, and now 0 for 4 for the tournament. Was walked and hit by a pitch earlier, so he's been walked twice and hit by a pitch today. And the count goes 2 balls and no strikes to the Chattanooga State right fielder, Connor Linkfield, on deck. That pitch sails high. Three-0 pitch at the knees, called strike. Ground ball to short. Reed up with it and over to first base. It is wide of the mark. Stoney Smith will hustle on down to second base with a head-first Superman dive into second base. He will be at second base with 2 outs as he reaches on the error by Curtis Reed. Corbin Shaw looked like he stretched, but as he stretched, the ball was farther over to his left. I don't know if he stretched too early or what happened. It's not in my line of vision. We haven't been able to get a camera over that way. We'll work next year on having cameras Maybe on the dugouts. See if we can get our best engineers on that, Reagan. How about that? Why don't you put that down as a summer project right there? I need that for the summer team as well. Connor Linkfield drives one out to left center field. If it's down, and it is, that will tie the ball game. An unearned run comes in on a base hit by Connor Linkfield, and we're tied. Stoney Smith reached on an error on a throw by Curtis Reed, and Connor Linkfield drives him in. This ball game now knotted at 5.
Next to bat for the Tigers, number 9, CJ Morrow.
7th hit of the ball game for Chat State. Walter State only has 3. Chattanooga State has crawled all the way back after being down 5-1. 3 runs in the 5th and 1 so far here in the 6th with 2 out. All this damage with 2 outs. Popped up to the left side. It's playable in foul territory. Over is Keaton Ray. He'll make the catch for out number 3. But the Tigers tie it up here in the top of the 6th inning on a 2-out knock by Connor Linkfield, who's now 2 for 3. 5-5. We're headed to the bottom of the 6th on the VolState Sports Network. We got a new ball game here, folks. Halfway through with this one, and it is knotted at 5. If you thought Chattanooga State was just going to let Walter State walk all over them, well, right now you thought wrong. Hard shot to second base, and again, that will get by C.J. Morrow. He's playing that over on that left side instead of trying to get right in front of that. Should have been played, and already there's an H up on the board. I don't know that I agree with that. I don't. But you didn't give me a chance, Alex Qualls. You didn't even ask me. We're not the official scorers, folks, okay? So it doesn't matter what goes up on that scoreboard or what goes in my score book. Coaches for the respective teams will argue that out if there's an issue. Some of you are probably watching a live scoring, typically on the Walter State website. I didn't even think about that. I'll try to pull that up and see what they called. Jarrett Martin will step in. With a runner on first base, the go-ahead run. Two-0 count to Martin. He's grounded out twice to shortstop. Smith yanks that one. He's now 3-0. There's a called strike. Jarrett Martin from Savannah, Tennessee. He hits another ground ball to short. This could be 2, 6-4. 2, 3 is not in time. He'll get the force at second base. And Cruz Newman will head back to the dugout. Jarrett Martin reaches on the fielder's choice.
Next to bat for the Senators.
And there are live stats going.
Ray.
Looks like they're a little bit behind on it. It's still in the top of the 6th inning. It shows 5-4, so not sure what is going on there. Normally it's pretty much right on time. Keaton Ray steps in. He's struck out twice. I would assume that scoring is being conducted in the Walters State dugout. Ground ball slowly hit. McCaskey gloves, throws to second for the force out. Charlie Smith covering the first base. Probably the hardest ground ball double play to turn is the 3 to 6-1. Another fielder's choice. And there are 2 outs.
Next to bat for the Senators. Number 9, Curtis.
My opinion, the Tigers should be out of the inning. Two outs, 1 on. Curtis Reed, who has walked in each of his 2 plate appearances, scored in the 2nd inning, reached third base, and was stranded there in the 4th, now hitting in the 6th. Charlie Smith on trying to complete 6 innings, a swing and a miss, and the batters again may have interfered with the catcher. They've not called it. Throw down to second base is not in time. Stolen base by Keaton Ray. Go back and look at that replay, and bet you'll see Curtis Reed's half of his body is over home plate. But Owen Brock did not complain about that. Off the maintenance shed to the right side. Count remains no balls, 2 strikes. It's Keaton Ray's 2nd stolen base of the year. He stole it like a boss, though. Assume that was a hit and run that was on with Curtis Reed. Tapper to the first base line. McCaskey going to have to flip to Charlie Smith. And he's an athlete. He's able to cover first base. That's a couple trips he's made over to the bag in this inning. As another 3-1 out. And no runs. And we're still efforting to figure out whether or not that was a hit that was credited to Cruz Newman or not. But no runs on the board. We are through 6 innings, 5-5 on the VolState Sports Network. Top of the 7th we go. We're 2/3 of the way with this one, and Scott Campbell steps in. He's 2 for 3. Singled in the 3rd and doubled. Drove in a run in the 5th, and he fouls one straight back. Would have hit the lady who's standing right behind home plate, right at the top of the steps at the bleachers in front of the press box. She wasn't even paying attention to that. Breaking pitch misses just inside. If she was paying attention, she would have moved pretty quick right there. What do you think, Reagan? Did you see that happening? 1-1. Scott Campbell has. And I don't know how to say that. He did not have a good pass at that pitch. He's glad there's another strike left in his bag. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And he will go down looking. That pitch, I could have called that a strike from right here. Scott Campbell from Macon, Georgia now. Strikeout, single, double, strikeout.
Now batting for the Tigers.
Landon Slimp still out on the mound for Walter State. I'm not sure how long they'll ride him, as they have a left-hander getting loose down in that bullpen. Adam Haber steps in. He looks at the first pitch inside. He's 1 for 3 with an RBI. Good ball game here as the winners bracket final game 1. Walter State is undefeated in this tournament, so Chattanooga State would have to defeat them 2 games, one today, and if they can manage that, we'll come back tomorrow for a winner-take-all ball game at 1 p.m. Slimp now 2 balls and a strike. Foul off, and count goes 2 balls and 2 strikes. Slimp was striking out Tiger batters at a pretty rapid pace through 4 innings. He had 7. That last strikeout of Scott Campbell. That ball is grounded to short. Reed up with it, and a high throw again to first base. Haber will scramble back to the base just in case an umpire might have thought that he had made a turn to go to second base. So that is Curtis Reed's 2nd error in as many innings.
Next to bat for the
Tigers. 3rd error of the ball game for Walter State. Owen Brock steps in with 1 out and 1 on. He blooped a single into right field. Drive in the 3rd run of the inning in the 5th. Put the Tigers within 1. Cole Brennan on deck, a left-handed hitter, throw over to first base. Haber back in time. Haber tied for the lead with 22 stolen bases for the team. Pop up down that right side. That will get over toward the maintenance shed to the right. There's also the hospitality pavilion down there where Bobby Hudson and his son-in-law Joel have been grilling hamburgers, fried bologna, hot dogs. Owen Brock had to fight the urge to stick that left arm out there and see if he could take one for the team, but I've seen that happen during this tournament, and it's just counted as a ball. There's a base hit into left field. Tigers threatening again here in the top of the 7th inning. Adam Haber, who reached on the air, heads down to second base with Cole Brennan stepping in. And this might be the time that Dave Shelton comes out of the dugout as a left-hander is warming, and Cole Brennan is a left-handed batter. Yeah, we're going to have a pinch hitter for Cole Brennan, but another left-handed hitter. We got number 31, who is Anthony Bandero. Dave Shelton came out. I guess he must have checked down in the bullpen to see if his left-hander, I can't see the number down there, is to see whether or not he was ready. But Bandero going to get an at-bat against Landon Slimp. Cole Brennan went 1 for 3. Anthony Bandero's first action here in the conference tournament. That slider outside is very close to some pitches that we've seen called a strike in this ball game already, but Tim Taylor does not raise the right arm there. 1-1 pitch, swung on. That ball is nose high to Bandero. He's a redshirt freshman from Orange, Texas. Same place as Cooper Longren. I believe that's down there by Beaumont, St. Augustine. Swing and a miss, and down goes Bandero on strikes. Might be Bandiero. It's Bandiero, so I apologize to the family of Anthony Bandiero or Bandero for not knowing his correct pronunciation. Cade Chamley checks in. He's 0 for 3. 2 outs. Ball in the dirt, blocked by Jarrett Martin. Two strikeouts in the inning, 9 for the game for Landon Slimp. Conference Coach of the Year, Dave Shelton, over there in the first base dugout. There's a turn in the throw to second base on a double clutch. See if Todd Mullins apparently will allow that. Originally, it looks like Todd Mullins does look like they called the disengagement. Not probably going to be a big issue. Chamley fouls that one off. Dave Shelton now questioning why they called that disengagement. Todd Mullins explaining it to Dave Shelton as to what happened. I don't know why this is an argument, but Dave Shelton does not agree with Todd Mullins calling the disengagement. Tim Taylor says he don't want to talk to more than one person, and he's talking to head coach Dave Shelton as he asked whoever that was that came out of the dugout to step back in. So it took a pitch for that conversation to take place. The issue was the step off by Slimp, as he stepped off originally and had the fake throw, but then the double clutch, he ended up throwing it. Because if you actually throw the ball to the base, you can do that all day long. But if you step off and fake a throw, you can only do that once per batter. So don't know in the grand scheme of things of defensive play that that's an issue. But 2 outs, 1 ball, 2 strike count to Cade Chamley. And he's able to lay off that slider down low. Counting up. Now goes 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the Senators fans are vocalizing their support for Landon Slimp, who misses outside. Appears to be more fans here for Washington. There I goes, first time in this game. The old Washington Senators, now Texas Rangers. The Walter State Senators. Adam Haber started to run off. That's a full count Ministries. Full count foul ball. It's our first of this ball game, 1 for 3, and runners will be off again. Adam Haber at second. He reached on an error by shortstop Curtis Reed, and Owen Brock singled in the left, and there's another foul ball off to the right side. You know, a youngster could have sat over there this week and got foul ball after foul ball and foul ball. Probably could have made $100 this week selling baseballs for $1. Selling $8 to $12 baseballs for $1. Full count, runner goes, and it's, you guessed it, another foul ball. Landon Slimp is hyping himself up to make the pitch that he needs to make. Looks like that live stat thing. There's a throwback, another delay. That probably could have been called a disengagement that without a throw. Nobody was covering second base. He just had to lob it to Curtis Reed, who ran over. So the live stat's apparently not working. And there's a ball 4 as Kate Chamley throws his bat back toward the dugout, and the bases are now loaded.
Now batting for the Tigers.
Been a while since
27.
Landon Slimp walked a batter. I think all the way back to the second inning. That's the second walk. Coach Shelton will send his pitching coach out. He asked how many visits he had left, I guess, before sending Sean Robinson out to talk to the entire infield. First team all conference at every position. Catcher, third base, shortstop, second base, first base. Jarrett Martin, Denny Ortiz, Curtis Reed, Cooper Torres, Corbin Shaw, all first team all conference. Caleb Marmo out in center field, and Cruz Newman in right, our second team all conference. Owen Brock, the catcher for Chattanooga State, and I believe Scott Campbell, also a second teamer. Trying to make sure I see that right. Nope, Scott Campbell is a first team all conference outfielder. That ball in the dirt, swung on and missed by McCaskey, squirts away up the third base line from Jarrett Martin. Slip hustling in to cover home plate in case he's needed. A 1 pitch, fouled off down the first base line, and Slip has McCaskey down the hole. No balls and 2 strikes. With the bases loaded, big moment here in this ball game in the top of the 7th inning. All tied up 5-5. Another tapper that will go off of the lower body of McCaskey. Thanks for joining us from wherever you are in the country or the world. We've had spectators from South Korea, Puerto Rico, the United Kingdom, Crystal Lake, Illinois. Fly ball to deep left field. Back goes Keaton Ray. He's still going back. And that ball's off the telephone pole for a grand slam home run by Aiden McCaskey. That's his second grand slam of the tournament. That ball just kept going. That's an Energizer Bunny home run. It just kept going and going and going. Chattanooga State is now taking a 9-5 lead. A 2-out grand slam home run by Aiden McCaskey, his first hit of the ball game. All runs were unearned And that will bring head coach Dave Shelton out of the dugout, and we'll have a Summit Concrete call to the bullpen. We'll take a break, tell you about the new pitcher. We return on the VolState Sports Network. Summit Concrete call to the bullpen. Blake Cooper for Walter State now in the ball game. Nobody on, 2 outs. After a grand slam home run just given up by Landon Slimp gives Chattanooga State the 9-5 lead. Stoney Smith steps in to face the left-hander from Maryville, Tennessee. Called strike on the outside portion, inside portion of the left-handed batter's box. 6 foot, 185-pound left-hander. It's a redshirt sophomore, and it's a called strike. Up in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes is Blake Cooper on for his 16th appearance of the year. Called strike in the left-handed batter's box. There wasn't a ball that came within 2 balls of that plate in that at-bat. Stoney Smith has to shake his head and walk back to the dugout, but 4 runs in the top of the 7th inning, all unearned after the error on the second batter in the inning. There were 2 hits in the inning, 1 big error, nobody left on base. We're going to the bottom of the 7th. Chattanooga State leads 9-5. Charlie Smith back out on the mound for inning number 7. He is an Iron Man. I don't have any idea how many pitches he's thrown, but it is not a small number I wouldn't expect. He's been through the lineup 3 times, now going to face Caleb Marmo for the 4th time. Marmo is 2 for 3, scored 2 runs, driven 1 in. Lined a shot right by Charlie Smith's ear in the 4th. Will square around a bunt, and Marmo is said to have offered at that pitch. Head coach Dave Shelton's coming down from third base. He cannot believe that Tim Taylor called that. Tim Taylor starting to draw the ire of the Walters State Senators. I just need to quit calling them the Walters. The Senators from Morristown. Pitch misses low and inside as Charlie Smith tried to step on one, get it by Caleb Marmo. Marmo trying to get something going here in the 7th inning, fouls that one off. Five runs, 4 hits, 3 errors for Washington State. Now make it 5 hits as Marmo has 3 of them. Gets one right off the end of the bat and lifts it over C.J. Morrow's head into right field. It's not always how hard you hit it, it's just where you hit it. Cooper Torres now stepping in the box.
Now batting for the Senators, number 15.
3 for 10 in the tournament. All 3 hits, extra base hits, 2 doubles and a home run. Scored 6 runs. He's driven in 3 and has, in this game, walked twice and now been hit by a pitch. He's been on 3 out of the 4 times. He's 0 for 1. Scored 1 run. So now for the tournament, he's 3 for 11, but his on-base average is increasing rapidly. Cooper Torres, the transfer from Butler Community College,
Next to bat for the Senators,
where he played 55 games a year ago, hit 14 home runs, 54 RBIs. This year in his all-conference first-team season, Torres with 12 home runs and 35 RBIs. Big contributor to the Senators' success as Cole McCollum steps in. Been saying McCallum all year long, but McCollum. Strike called in the outside corner. Count goes 1 ball, 1 strike. Right-hander getting loose down in the Chat State bullpen, and looks like some additional activity in the Senators bullpen. Charlie Smith looks back at second base, and he gets a ground ball to third. If it's fair, it's could be a double play. The catch and the tag on McCollum. What a play. Apparently a fair ball down that third base line, right on the line and right on the bag as Chamley steps on third as he's catching the ball, or right after he catches the ball, and then throws on the run to first baseman McCaskey, throws a little bit up the line, and McCaskey has to come off the base. And as he's catching it, he's tagging McCollum on the head, and what a dudette double play that is. That ball is popped up down the right field line. It's twisting and turning, falls foul off the bat of Corbin Shaw. So a 5-3 dudette double play, just what the doctor ordered for Charlie Smith. That's two spectacular plays. And Cooper Torres moves up to second base, where he stands with 2 outs. Fastball misses high. Charlie Smith seems to have gotten a little extra boost of energy. And he had a little more giddy up on that fastball. Shaw seemed to even see that as he pulls his head back away from that fastball. 1-1 count. One look back at second base. That popped up into right field. Should be handled by Stoney Smith out there, and he'll make the catch for out number 3. Promising inning for the Senators is derailed by a 5-3 sparkling play by Kate Chamley and Aiden McCaskey on the double play. We are through 7 innings, 9-5. Chat State in a lose or win or go home game is up 9-5. You're listening to the VolState Sports Network. Sparkling defensive play there in the bottom of the 7th inning. Keeps this game 9-5, Chattanooga State. And Connor Linkfield has been in the middle of a lot that's happened. Is up the plate facing Blake Cooper here to lead off the 8th inning. Linkfield reached in the 2nd on an error. Stranded at first base, but singled leading off the 5th inning where the Tigers scored 3 runs as we have some wardrobe malfunction with Connor Linkfield's eyewear. Linkfield scored in the 5th, drove in a run in the 6th inning, and hits now here in the 8th inning. 7 batters came to the plate in the 4-run 7th, culminated by the grand slam home run by Aiden McCaskey, his 8th long ball of the year to take over the team lead. 3-0 is right down the can for strike 1 to Connor Linkfield, with C.J. Morrow getting loose on deck. There's ball 4, and Linkfield gets on base to lead off the bottom or top of the 8th inning. Chattanooga State, the number 2 seed here in the conference, as the top 3 teams came into what could be the last day of the tournament. 2 played 3 earlier and 2 defeated 3. That's Chat State that defeated Southwest Tennessee 10-0 in a walk-off 5-inning ball game. Blake Cooper, who came on in relief of Landon Slimp, struck out Stoney Smith to end the 7th and has now walked Connor Linkfield. So Blake Cooper is our first Summit Concrete call to the bullpen. Appreciate Chuck Akers and Summit Concrete out of Murfreesboro, Tennessee, for their support of Volunteer State baseball, as they have remodeled the bullpens down each line. Three balls, no strikes to C.J. Morrow, and Jarrett Martin will ask for time and go out and talk to his left-hander. These teams had a 3-game series earlier in the year. Walter State won the first 2 games. Chat State ended up coming back to win an 11-10 matchup in Game 3. And then they matched up as the number 1 and number 2 seeds yesterday at the 3rd game of the day in a 15-8, let's say a slugfest. I'd call it more of a walk fest. There were 6 walks by Chattanooga and 7 walks by Walter State. There's a pitch right on the outside corner as C.J. Morrow starts to toss his bat. But 3 hit batters by Chat State, so a lot of freebies given up. 3-1 pitch is fouled off to the left side. Chat State had 8 runs on 11 hits. Walter State 15 runs on 14 hits. So not like there weren't hits. Full count. Ministries full count. That could be 2. Over to Reed, to Torres, and a high throw to Corbin Shaw. So just the lead runner will be retired. No error will be issued. You cannot assume a double play, so a fielder's choice to C.J. Morrow. And in steps Scott Campbell, who's 2 for 4. Campbell just saw his
number 4, Scott Campbell,
teammate take the home run lead, where he and Campbell were tied at 7. Chattanooga State defeats Walter State here in this first championship game. Then we'll be right back here tomorrow for the final game between these 2 teams. Hope that you'll join us on the VolState Sports Network. One out, one on, and now 2-strike count to Scott Campbell. Good-looking player. That's why he's a first-teamer, first-team all-conference. This tournament was hosted up at Chattanooga State last year. 2 years ago, called strike 3 as Tim Taylor, I didn't hear him say strike. I might need to put a microphone on these umpires. We don't hear a lot of big calls of 3rd strikes. Campbell now been rung up 3 times. Twice swinging and once looking. 2nd strikeout for Cooper as he bends one in there to the left-handed hitting Adam Haber for a called strike. 2 outs. Same pitch. This time Haber offers at it, fouls it off. Haber is 1 for 4. He singled in the 1st. Reached on a fielder's choice in the 3rd. Grounded out to first baseman in the 5th and reached on an error. A huge play in that 7th inning. As with 1 out, grounded to Curtis Reed, who airmailed ball to first base. Owen Brock followed with a single after a flyout, and a grand slam home run after a walk by Aiden McCaskey, as Adam Haber will sit down as he goes down on strikes. So nothing doing in the top of the 8th for Chattanooga State. They'll get back out on defense. They lead 9-5 on the VolState Sports Network. Folks, there's going to be some outstanding player awards and other awards at the conclusion of this tournament, whether it's today or tomorrow. And if Charlie Smith completes this game and gets the win, if he's not one of the top awards, there is something wrong. He is giving a gutsy performance. That pitch, I don't know if that was called a ball or a strike. We're going to wait that one out. It doesn't matter as he smacks one to right field. Back goes Stoney Smith, and at the track, he'll haul that one in. Daniel Ortiz, 0 for 4. Again, he hit that ball hard, but Pioneer Field holds it. 320 down the lines here at Pioneer Field. 345 in the alleys, 380 to dead center field as Cruz Newman steps in. He has no trouble leaving the yard here. Daniel Ortiz wouldn't either normally. He's second in the conference with home runs at 16. Thanks for joining us on the VolState Sports Network. On my computer, it says 200 right on the dot. We're watching this TCCAA Region 7 Conference Tournament final game. That's not a final game if Chattanooga State wins. The if necessary game tomorrow at 1 p.m. right back here at the Tim Garrett Baseball Complex on the campus of Volunteer State Community College. Jace Mizell leads the conference in home runs from Volunteer State. He has 18. That ball's tapped foul. Looks like you might have to clean that one off. It looks like it got a little bit of dirt on it, which is what a pitcher wants to throw, a darker ball. Hitters want to see a whiter ball. Cruz Newman 1 for 3. He singled in the 6th. Was erased on a fielder's choice. He foul tips that ball into the mid of Owen Brock. 2 up, 2 down, and that is strikeout number 5 for Charlie Smith. 17 strikeout performance on Tuesday against Motlow State as Charlie Smith went the distance, 9 innings, complete game, 2 runs, I believe 5 hits. Swing and a miss by Jarrett Martin. Charlie Smith only walked 2 batters in that game, has given up 5 free passes as well as hit a batter. There's a sharp ground ball down that third base line, and that will catch a pull of water out in foul territory, and third base umpire Todd Mullins says that goes foul. Cade Chamley might have jammed his left wrist or hand as he was going after that ground ball that was hugging the line just until it got to the third base bag. Andy Martine, third in the conference with 15 home runs. Daniel Ortiz, second with 16. I believe these, well, I don't believe, I know, since Jace Mizell hit his 18th to give the Pioneers a 9-6 win over Dyersburg State. I know that the conference statistics count. That ball popped up out of play on the right side. So the longer you play in the tournament, your stats can accumulate. So I think that continues even if whoever wins this tournament, when they go to play the Georgia winner, I think all that counts, even in the conference records. Smashed to the Senators dugout. Does not appear as though any players were harmed with that foul ball. Somebody I saw in the chat had provided some information regarding the Georgia tournament. Fastball's high, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Somebody said they lived in Grand Junction, Colorado for 16 years and go back. I've never been to the College World Series in Grand Junction, Colorado, and how Jarrett Martin kept from getting plunked by that one, I have no idea. Full Count Ministries, full count. Two outs, nobody on base. Getting to dusk as the sun starts to set here in Middle Tennessee. Foul ball off to the right side. It will get out of play. Evened up on our full count first pitch foul balls, 2 for 4. Matt M. Street, you're killing me on this chat. Ball 4. Sixth walk by Charlie Smith. Somebody wants to go to the live stats, see if they're back running again. They had stopped. I haven't seen them as timeout is called. Dion Felger will come out of the Chat State dugout for a chat and a check on his freshman right-hander. Charlie Smith came into this game with a 3.88 ERA, 8 wins in 9 decisions. Indicates that he had 5 starts before this, but I don't know that. Let's see. It does show 51 starts. So I guess that's probably right. 5 starts. Now today is 6th start of the year. Complete game. He does have a shutout. 55 innings. In only 55 innings, 44 hits. Keaton Ray steps in with 2 out and 1 on. He is 0 for 3. Struck out twice and reached on a fielder's choice. Fouls the first pitch off. Not a big strikeout pitcher, but he struck out 17 Motlow State Bucks the other day. Opponents hitting .214. Walter State only has 5 hits in 7+ innings, 7 2/3. Count now goes 1 ball, 1 strike. There we go. That's where I saw it. It says Georgia is on a rain delay. I don't even know who's playing in the tournament. I haven't had a chance to even look, so if somebody wants to look that up, I'll use you folks as my crack research staff. Keaton Ray swings and misses. Ray 6'1", 210-pound redshirt freshman, good-looking player. Transfer from Virginia Tech, from Ray Valley. Ray County, not Ray Valley. Ray Valley's in Arkansas. Ray County High School. Ray Valley near Flippin, Arkansas. That area became famous with the Whitewater, FBI Whitewater investigation back in the mid-90s. Pitch misses low and inside. The count goes full. I'd never heard of Flippin, Arkansas or Ray Valley or any of that until the government sent me there to conduct a little investigation. Runner goes. Pitch is fouled off at the plate. What are the chances or odds that that happens, that if somebody swings and fouls a ball off a full count pitch? But I'll tell you, this year in junior college baseball, it's been 54%. Another foul ball off to the side. Another 3-2 pitch coming, driven out to left field. This has got a chance out to Haber. He backs up on the track and makes the catch. Keaton Ray put a charge into that one, but Adam Haber comes about 5 feet away at the track to make the catch for out number 3. We're heading to the top of the 9th. Chattanooga State leads 9-5. They are in need of a win here today to keep their season alive. You are watching TCCAA action on the VolState Sports Network. We're just talking some baseball here, folks. Thanks for listening. Nobody up here in the press box wants to hear what I got to say, as that ball is grounded up the middle. This will be a tough play. Cooper Torres backhands, but he does not have a chance to get the catcher from Crystal Lake, Illinois, Owen Brock, who reaches on an infield single. That's his 3rd straight hit. Now 3 for 5 after striking out in his first 2 plate appearances. What you got, Qualsey? What'd you say? Oh, yes. Sorry.
All right, number 16, Connor Sakula.
We got another pinch hitter here in the DH role. Home plate umpire Tim Taylor has apparently a question. Number 16, Connor Sakulo, has started as a DH in first game of the day. Went 1 for 2 with a double. Grounded into a double play in his second at-bat.
Number 16.
Cole Brennan came in as a pinch hitter and struck out in that game. Apparently, Greg Dennis not playing small ball as he does not have Sakulo squaring around a bunt. That ball doesn't need to as that ball gets away from Jarrett Martin. Time now called as Martin retrieves that one. Does not take his mask off and cover it, but at that point it wouldn't have mattered. The runner has moved up anyway. A wild pitch gets Owen Brock to second base. Percentage of scoring goes way up when you're on second base with nobody out. Then on first, and there he is squaring around. Runner starts to go as that ball's bunting down a third base line, but they'll let that one go foul. Everybody walked away from it. Daniel Ortiz, pitcher Blake Cooper, and Jared Martin all said, I'm not picking it up. Ortiz decided to go ahead and retrieve that, and Connor Sakulo will step back in, and I'm sure he will try it again. Sakulo has one sacrifice bunt, 12 on the year for Chat State. Sun is all but down here in Gallatin, and he will not square to bunt. Foul that ball off to the left side. Now down in the count, no balls and 2 strikes. Reagan Smith, my producer, is now probably tired of seeing that carpet square that's above him and wedged in that window. If only we had a camera that we could turn up and show you what's happening up in our beautifully remodeled press box with our MGM Industries custom installed windows. One of the carpet squares from Right Rug Flooring was blocking the sun that was coming in. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and a defensive swing, if I've ever seen it, from Connor Sakulo to stay alive. Carpet square wedged in the top window. After this half inning, we'll need to take that out. I need that sunlight now. Can't have a light on here inside. We have a glare on the window. They're going to check out to see if he went, and throw back to pitcher Blake Cooper gets away while everybody's looking at Brian Sheets, the base umpire, after home plate umpire Tim Taylor was asking for his assistance. He ends up saying he did not go, and we'll have a full count Ministries, a full count. Brian Sheets, obviously, is a friend of the full count ministry. Swinging a foul tip into the glove for strikeout number 4 for Blake Cooper, who's on in relief of Landon Slimp. So another full count first pitch foul ball. That does count. After being 0 for 2, now the last 4 times that's occurred has all been foul balls. Landon Slimp went 6 2/3, gave up 9 hits, 9 runs, only 4 earned, walked 2, struck out 9. His 9s were wild for Landon Slimp. Another throwback from Jarrett Martin that has Blake Cooper hopping up on the mound. So 1 out now and a runner at second base, which is exactly where you'd be if he had bunted with the man at first base. Another ball in the dirt. Jarrett Martin on that one quickly as Owen Brock had to make a decision on go or no go, and he decides on no go. Cade Chamley had a big walk in the 4-run seventh right ahead of Aiden McCaskey's grand slam home run. He slices one off to the right side out of play. That's a foul ball. There was a ball in the dirt. So it's at least 1 ball, 1 strike. There's a strike 2, so I would assume it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. So what you have, Reagan? You got 2-2? But don't go 2-2 until the umpire says. We'll see if he puts up 3-2 here. Or if he's looking at the scoreboard. Typically after 3 pitches, they at least put the count up on their hand, but he did not put anything up, so we're assuming count is 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's ground ball up the middle. Curtis Reed a chance, throws to first base, and that is chest high to get Chamley. And on the play, Owen Brock moves to third. As a former shortstop myself, once you've made a couple errors in the game, you start
Next to bat for the Tigers.
to get a little anxious when that ball starts coming your way. Looked like Curtis Reed took a little more time and had a little more time. Has a nice block by Jarrett Martin. Of course, I wasn't at Curtis Reed's level, I'm sure. I played shortstop out of necessity, not because I was a born shortstop. Another breaking pitch on the lefty-on-lefty matchup as Aiden McCaskey right now has the blow of the game. He has 1 hit, but it was a mighty one, and they're just going to say, you know what, son, just go on and go to first base. We're going to walk you. So that's 2-0 count, an intentional walk to Aiden McCaskey, and that will be walk number 2.
Now batting for the Tigers, number 13, Stoney.
Putting runners at the corners, brought to you by Line to Line, our grounds crew maintenance folks. Thanks to Bill Marbott and Steve Dodson. Their work here on baseball and softball. Swing and a miss by Stoney Smith. Stoney is 0 for 3 with a walk and scored after reaching on one of those Curtis Reed errors. 9 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors for Chat State. 5 and 3 by Walter State. And there's a breaking pitch. Beautiful pitch right over the plate. 5 runs, 5 hits, 3 errors for Walter State. We're in the 9th inning of the first championship game. If Walter State should happen to come back and win this game, then the tournament will be over. If Chattanooga State wins, they'll go to a final deciding game tomorrow. The runner goes, and they will just throw right back to the pitcher. Aiden McCaskey will get a free gift stolen base. Runners now at second and third. Chattanooga State would love to play add-on here. Stoney Smith looking for his first hit of the ball game. He's down in the count 1-2. Strike 3 called. It won't happen here in the 9th. As Stoney Smith goes down on a fastball in the inside corner. No runs, 1 hit. No errors, 2 runners left on base. Chattanooga State is trying to hold on here in the bottom of the 9th. Walter State needs 4 to tie, 5 to win. You're watching TCCAA baseball action on the VolState Sports Network. leading off the bottom of the 9th inning for Walter State. Curtis Reed to be followed by the top of the lineup, Caleb Marmo and Cooper Torres. Charlie Smith back out on the mound for inning number 9. What a performance. First pitch to Reed is outside the zone. Charlie Smith is a first-team all-conference starting pitcher, along with Connor Burt and Anthony Figueroa, both of Dyersburg State, and Cooper Castile from Cleveland State. And he is pitching like it in this conference tournament, no question, as he now goes 3 balls and no strikes to Curtis Reed, who has walked twice and grounded out. But if you would have asked me after the first 2 innings, is Charlie Smith going to be standing out on that mound in the bottom of the 9th inning, I would have said no and said you were crazy to think so. Maybe one of the best JUCO performances that I've ever seen on the mound following a complete game, 9-inning complete game on Tuesday. Folks, he's only had 2 days of rest. Now 3 balls and a strike to the shortstop for the Senators, and he'll draw a walk. That's the 3rd one that he's drawn. Walter State needs base runners, and there's one.
Now batting for Walter State, number 7, Caleb Martin.
Right-hander standing down in the bullpen. I would assume that he is already warmed up and ready to go in case he's needed. Caleb Marmo has had a day, 3 for 4. Got a lot of green colored on his blocks in my scorebook, as well as a couple orange diamonds. Scored twice, doubled in the 2nd, singled in the 4th, and singled in the 7th inning. 0-1 pitch coming. Now it turned into 2 strikes. Chattanooga State looking for a dudette double play to take some pressure off. Strike 3. Down goes Marmo. Strikeout number 6.
Next to bat, number 15.
Cooper Torres steps in. Double play will end the game. The pitch misses low and outside. Hope he hadn't made any plans for tomorrow, as we'll be right back here tomorrow as that pitch lands over the top of Cooper Torres. He's looking for his first hit of the ball game, but he's been on base 3 of 4 times. Walked in the 1st and scored. Walked in the 2nd. Grounded out in the 4th. Was hit by a pitch in the 7th. Batting here in the bottom of the 9th with the Senators in need of 4 runs to tie. There's a pitch that misses down and in. That's pretty close. Charlie Smith asking where that one was. Looked pretty good based on where some of the other pitches have been called, so that's why he's asking. I would be as well. He's earned that right. This is inning number 18. There's a called strike as Torres almost gets hit by that pitch. Tension mounting here for both Tiger fans and Senator fans. Thank you for joining us for Tennessee JUCO college baseball swing and a mammoth hack by Torres. The count goes full. Full Count Ministries, full count. Cooper Torres was looking for home run number 13 and wanting to cut that lead in half. 3-2 pitch. Yanked outside, and that is second walk of the inning. The 8th walk. Let's see if we'll get a visit out of the dugout. Honestly, I don't know the rules about how many visits you can. It used to be you could visit a guy once an inning, every inning you wanted, but there may be some changes to that. Cole McCollum steps in. He fouls that one off to the right side. He has a 3-run bomb already, and that's his only hit in 4 at-bats, but he got the party started for the Senators in the first inning. 3 batters in, they had a 3-0 lead as he drilled one over the right center field fence. Grounds that one up the middle. That could be 2. That could be the ball game. Flip to second. Apparently C.J. Morrow must have been farther back. I thought he was close enough to the bag, but he did flip to Connor Linkfield, who was able to get at least 1 out on the fielder's choice. So a 4-6 retires Torres, and the Senators are now down to their last out with runners on the corners, brought to you by Line to Line, company that provides services for baseball fields, padding, netting, screens as are displayed here at Pioneer Field, as well as ground maintenance. Corbin Shaw, the league leader in RBIs. Called strike. He has 79 RBIs. He is 0 for 3 with a walk here in this ball game. 9 RBIs came right here in this conference tournament. 6 in the first ball game that they played against Roan State. 2 home runs in the tournament. Corbin Shaw, he now stands at 13, which is 3rd on his club. 13 home runs, and you're only the 3rd home run hitter on your team. 2-1 pitch by Charlie Smith in there for a called strike, and now the Senators are down to their last out. In a manner of speaking, at least for this game, they've got a game in hand, as they say in hockey. They know that they've not down to their last game. Big lead off from first base. They will give McCollum the bag, but he'll have to come back to first base. Aiden McCaskey was playing behind the runner. 8 walks for Charlie Smith, but he's been able to pitch around it for the most part. Had 3 of those walks in the first 2 innings, in which he gave up the 5 runs that Walter State has. He's put zeros on the board in the 3rd through the 8th. Lined into right field. Senators are still alive. That ball goes to the corner. Corbin Shaw falls down between first and second. He gets up and he get back to the bag, and he will at first base, but he is injured. His time is now called. He started to just lay between first and second base, but he knows that if he gets tug out, ball game's over, and he was able to get up and get back to first base, but a single and a 2-run drive down that the right field line. He had second base, no question, but a hush across the crowd here as 2 runs have scored. Chattanooga State leads 9-7. McCollum was running on the play. All-world trainer or athletic trainer Justin McKinney out there with head coach Dave Shelton. And they're assisting Corbin Shaw up. Kind of looked like they were looking at his left side. Not sure if it's his upper leg or hip. He did it while he was rounding the base. He hit a shot down that right field line. About 3 steps into his turn, he splayed out. I watched the replay. He went down awkwardly, looked like maybe on that right hip. He's going to try to stay in this ball game. 2 outs, 2 in. And Daniel Ortiz, now he's going to walk off and we'll have a pinch runner. There's absolutely no reason for him to stay in this game. Well, a pinch runner, number 4. That should be Zion Taylor, I believe. And it is. He'll come on to pinch run for Corbin Shaw, who was down to his last strike. 2-2 pitch. Laced down the right field line, and that had extra bases written all over it, no question, but stumbled about 3 steps past the first base bag, went down, was able to get up and get back to first base, where now Zion Taylor is running. Daniel Ortiz, 0 in the tournament, but he can make up for all that right now with a big fly to tie this ball game up. He is the tying run. The winning run is standing on deck in the person of Cruz Newman. If he could get to the plate. Ortiz 0 for 4. And looking at a 2-ball, no strike count. How much longer will head coach Greg Dennis go with Charlie Smith? Probably at this point in time, although he's got a right-hander warming in the bullpen. Could he throw to 2 more batters? He gets a called strike there. That would be all he'd need to do is throw to. Maybe not. You could single and single and single, so he could send several people to the plate. Ortiz now with a 2-ball, 1-strike count. Zion Taylor staying close. The deep fly ball to center field. Scott Campbell looks like he'll be able to handle that in the right center field gap, and he does. And this ball game is over. And this ball game belongs to the Chattanooga State Tigers, who defeat Walter State 9-7. What a ball game. An outstanding performance by Charlie Smith. I cannot overemphasize that. Charlie Smith gets his 9th win in 10 decisions. Losing pitcher will be Landon Slimp, who falls to 6-2. 9 runs, 10 hits, 2 errors. This is all unofficial. 7 runs, 6 hits, and 3 errors for Walter State. Chattanooga State moves to 43-10. Walter State will fall to 51-9. We'll come back tomorrow and do this again for real, as it'll be a winner take all. The winner of tomorrow's game will go on to play the winner coming out of Georgia. I think that's a 3-game series to see who goes to Grand Junction. Folks, it's been an exciting conference tournament, and we're going to have a 16th game. I'm sorry, a 15th game. I can't count if there's so many ball games. 15th game Actually, it's a 17th game, isn't it, Reagan, that we've done. 15 game in the regular, but plus the 2. That's why I was confused. A big blow of the game. It really gave the momentum back to Chattanooga State. As now I've lost my scoreboard. I have to recreate that. The 4-run 7th inning. The Senators were up 5-1 going to the top of the 5th inning. Chattanooga State scored 3 in the top of the 5th to get back to 5-4. Tied the game in the 6th. And then in the 7th, the big grand slam home run by Aiden McCaskey put them up 9-5. 2-run single by Corbin Shaw in the bottom of the 9th made it exciting, but a fly out to center field by Daniel Ortiz ended the ball game. So in the final inning, there was 2 runs on 1 hit, no errors, and 1 runner that was left on base. Exciting action here in TCCAA Conference Tournament in baseball. We'll tell you, if you don't know, the Lady Senators have defeated the Lady Tigers in their game 1 of the conference tournament finals, and the Lady Senators are TCCAA champions. So congratulations to Walter State. They have won 1 championship. They are looking tomorrow to see if they can make it a clean sweep. We'll have to come back tomorrow and join us on the VolState Sports Network. Reagan Smith will be here. Alex Qualls will be here, our DJPA and Toyota of Gallatin scoreboard operator. And yours truly, Tim Reese, will be here, Lord willing. Folks, it's been exciting. Tomorrow will be the culmination. Hope you can join us on the VolState Sports Network. Good night and God bless.